Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here on today's show, I got 9 Raiders who deserve more snaps. The Raiders were 5-2. You entered the bye, and it was back-to-back really bad games. So now I'm sitting here wondering, all right, how can we flip the switch? How can we get back in the win column? So what I did was I looked at the offensive side of the football, I looked at the defensive side of the football, and I tried to wrap my mind around certain players that I want to see on the field just a little bit more. Now, before I reveal some of these offensive guys, let's look at the most offensive snaps since the bye. Derek Carr, he's got 122. Zay Jones at 112. Darren Waller's at 110. Brian Edwards, 107. Hunter Renfrow, 84. And then the Raiders' offensive line starters, well, they've actually played 100% of all the snaps. So Colt Miller, John Simpson, Andre James, Alex Leatherwood, and Brandon Parker, they've technically played the most snaps the past week, but I really want to concentrate on some of these names here, and maybe you might see a name on this list that deserves a few more snaps. Now, before I give you guys my offensive players, I want you to name a player on offense that deserves more snaps going forward. Now, what you guys are going to see here on today's show is I have them ranked from 5 down to 1. If you've watched the show before, you'll know that the person at number 1 is the person that I believe deserves the most snaps going forward. So let me know. Name a player who deserves more snaps on offense. Is anybody saying Foster Moreau? Because Foster Moreau is number 5 here on my list. And this is, I really truly believe, one of the better tight ends in the league. The issue for him, he's stuck behind Darren Waller. And the one game that Waller was unable to go, which was Week 7 up against the Philadelphia Eagles, I thought Foster was great. 6 targets, 6 catches, over 60 yards, and he had himself a touchdown. Now, Week 9 snaps, he played in 22 snaps, which was 32%. Week 10, 21 snaps, 39% of the offense. Now, do I think he could get out on the field a little bit more if he was better at run blocking and pass blocking? Sure, I can get on board with that. But as stale as the Raiders' offense has looked and as vanilla as it has looked, what I'm really trying to figure out is why not maybe put out Foster a little bit more, maybe even in the red zone, because last time I checked, and I think a lot of y'all would agree, Foster's a pretty damn good red zone option. So if we're having these struggles in the red zone, all I'm trying to figure out is why Foster Moreau isn't on the field just a little bit more. Let's go to number 4 on my list. This one's going to get a lot of attention. It's Marcus Mariota, and I'm just going to say this right now. Because I want to see more snaps out of Mariota does not mean that you should bench Derek Carr. By no means necessary. Absolutely not. But the fact that he's really only played in 3 snaps this season, I think he should at least get 5 snaps a game. Now, you got to improve in the red zone. I've been waiting to see this Marcus Mariota package that everybody and their brother was talking about all offseason. But I'll also say this. In the 3 snaps that Marcus was on the field, you picked up 2 first downs. One was a 30-yard run. The other one was just another easy first down run, which, believe it or not, that kind of stuff is important to me. And if you are trying to get your groove back, I get it, man. You lost Henry Ruggs, and that's really hard to be able to replace. But if you're trying to get a little bit of a groove, why not throw Mariota out there for 5 plays a game to pick up a clutch first down or to just do something different? Because the offensive game plan, I really think the past 2 weeks has been way too simple. Let's go to number 3 here on my list of some Raiders that need more snaps on the offensive side of the football. I'm going to go with DeSean Jackson, and a lot of people are going to be like, but Mitch, did you even watch the game against Kansas City? My answer to that would be yes, I absolutely did. And the fumble sucked. Do I have any idea what he was doing? No. Do I think if he would have just caught it and ran forward, maybe he would have got in the end zone? Yes. I'll also say this. If Derek hits him in stride, that's a touchdown for DeSean Jackson. But the reason why I want him out there, he brings legit speed, and he's the closest thing if you're trying to replace Ruggs. I've kind of said this before. He's not going to be able to replace Ruggs, but if you want to bring some of that Nelson Aguilar mojo that you had last season, I think that's what D-Jax does. He opens up a lot of different things. He's got that legit speed. I want to see more of DeSean Jackson, and hopefully you can get his confidence back up because he definitely lost his confidence after that catch and fumble. But you saw the talent. You saw the burst. 38-yard catch. That's what I want to see going forward. Now, if you want to bet on the Raiders or any NFL game going forward, heck, you want to bet on the NBA, the Warriors right now are red frickin' hot. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders. Make sure you use the promo code Raiders125 to get a 125% deposit bonus. So what does that mean? If you deposit $100, you actually get $125 for free to bet with. Now, if 125% deposit bonus isn't good enough of a deal, what about a free Raiders jersey? Yeah, I think that's pretty damn good if you ask me. So for first-time BetUS users, for people that that put down $100, get $125 for free. We're also going to hook you up with a free Raiders jersey. All you got to do is send me your account number and maybe send me a bet, because I went 2-3 last week and I could really use some extra betting advice. But send me that information at jersey@chatsports.com. That's the email that I try to keep all this stuff in. If all you heard was email or all you heard was jersey, or if you're still wondering how to bet on the Raiders with BetUS, you can also email me for the details there. Jersey@chatsports.com. Bottom line, I want you guys to bet on the Raiders. I want you to bet on sports. Makes it a little bit more fun. And not only is it a great deal, we're also giving you a free Raiders jersey. So again, send me the details, jersey@chatsports.com. Number 2 on my list for Raiders who need more snaps. Let's go to the running back position. It's my man Kenyan Drake. And if you're trying to figure out, okay, you were using Ruggs, moving them all over the football field, why not use Kenyan Drake maybe a little bit more as a joker type of role? And what do I mean by that? Line him up as a receiver, line him up at running back, move him sideline to sideline. That way Derek Carr can get a better read on what's happening on the defensive side of the football. And as much as I love Jacobs, and Jacobs is the better running back, I'm not trying to get this twisted, but Kenyan Drake looks healthier, and he looks better right now. I mean, just watch the burst. Watch the run. When Drake gets the ball, he gets through the line a lot quicker, I think, right now than Jacobs. Plus, I think Kenyan's a better overall pass-catching running back. And I'm not trying to take any love away from Jacobs, but let's just say the split right now is like 60-40. Let's just make it 50-50. I believe Drake has earned the right to get a few more snaps going forward. And number 1, the guy who I believe deserves more snaps, and I've kind of said this the whole year, it's Hunter Renfrow. And I'm really trying to wrap my mind around the idea of how Zay Jones and how Bryan Edwards are getting more snaps than Renfrow. Now, sure, he's not the best pass blocker, but neither is Zay. And I would definitely say that Hunter's the most reliable receiver you have right now. And I would even make the argument that Derek Carr trusts Hunter even more than Darren Waller. I mean, he's just coming up clutch in those situations. Zay Jones, I'm sorry. I like Zay. He's a good player. He's got good practice. He does a lot of really good things. He should not be getting 40 more snaps than Hunter Renfrow over the last 2 weeks. To me, that makes absolutely no sense. I mean, for me, Renfrow, he's so good at getting open in these intermediate routes that for Derek Carr, you're trying to get some confidence, get him out on the field more. He's got 52 catches, 494 yards, 4 touchdowns. Hunter Renfrow deserves more snaps. Now, if you ask me, I think we're pretty close to 100,000 subs, and maybe we deserve more subs, but we're about 4,000 away. And once we get to 100,000, I get a plaque. Well, I think we get verified on YouTube as well. But if you want to continue to support the channel, I want to be the very first Raiders channel that's not literally the Raiders YouTube channel to get 100,000 subs. It's an amazing accomplishment. So if you love the Raiders, if you bleed silver and black, if you haven't yet, I would appreciate it. Go ahead and hit that sub button. All right, y'all. Now it's time to go to the defensive side of the football, and we'll break down a few players on the defense that I believe deserve a few more snaps. Now, let's look at the guys who have played the most snaps over the past 2 weeks. Merrick and Abram, they're tied with 132, which was the absolute max you could play. Casey Hayward at 128. Brandon Faison, 124. And then Denzel Perriman rounding out the top 5 with 114. So if I ask you on the offensive side, you know I'm going to ask you on the defensive side as well. I want you to name a player who you believe deserves more snaps on the defensive side of the football. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Some of the names that you're about to see are not very big name guys. And I think once you hear some of my reasonings, you're like, all right, I can kind of get on board for that. So again, let me know a player that you think deserves more snaps on defense. Some people might laugh about this one. Now, maybe it's just his first name, but I'm going to go with Ha Clinton-Dix here. And when you really think about some of the biggest Raiders needs, I really just truly believe that if you're going to throw out Jonathan Abram in coverage, it's a liability. And I think Clinton-Dix is the better option in coverage than Abram. Plus, is Dalen Levitt a better option than Ha? I'm not 100% sure. Like, I love Levitt in terms of special teams value. But having Jonathan Abram in 132 snaps, which is 100% of the snaps the past 2 games, I just think that's too many. If you want to put Abram up near the box, up near the line of scrimmage, and in pass rushing situations, he can get after the quarterback. Running situations, he's on the field, that's great. But, I mean, we have to realize it. If they're going to pass the football, I don't want Jonathan Abram out on the field. This past game, he was targeted 9 times, gave up 9 catches, 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns. All I'm saying is you have Ha, maybe give him a shot. because you can't be much worse than what Abram has been the past 2 weeks. The next guy coming up here, Malcolm Koonce. He hasn't even played a single snap yet, and all I want to do is this. I want to figure out what the hell Malcolm Koonce is, because it's either he was another draft bust by Mayock, and if that's the case, then maybe we need to move on from Mayock, or maybe he actually just needs a little bit more playing time. And the reason why I'm going to go ahead and say this is because earlier in the year, Andre James was bad, and a lot of these younger players, Alex Leatherwood, he was bad. Would we all agree that Andre James and Alex Leatherwood are playing a little bit better now? My answer to that is yes. So why not throw Koonce out there just for something? I mean, he hasn't even been active yet. And when I really think about the future of the Raiders, Malcolm Koonce has a brighter future with this team than Clelin Ferrell and with Carl Nassib. That's just the simple truth. So why not at least get the young kid some reps? Why not get him some playing NFL experience? Because what I see right now is the Raiders already realizing that he was a wasted pick and he's never going to make it. I can guarantee you this, if you never play him, he's absolutely going to be a wasted pick. Now, if anybody wants to come maybe watch Malcolm Koonce play against the Bengals, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I can guarantee you this, we're going to be the biggest game day party in Las Vegas. So if you plan on coming to Vegas this weekend, it's also going to be my dad's birthday. And in fact, I believe November 20th, so it's going to be the day before the game. You want to come meet my dad as well. But we're going to be doing a watch party at Red Tail. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It starts at 10 a.m. It goes until the end of the game, which I believe is going to be, what time? I guess, a little bit after 4 p.m. Vegas time. So overall, yeah, after. Sam, it's after the game, Sam. Come on. So Raiders versus Bengals. It'll be a game day party at Red Tail. It's 100% free to come. But if you want a chance to win some free Raiders tickets going forward, all you got to do is go to chatsports.com/Raiders tickets. So basically what we have set up, the Black Hole and I, we're going to just give away 2 tickets to an upcoming Raiders game, whether it's going to be the Washington game, the Broncos game, the Chargers game. We want to be able to show the nation that, hey, man, we're here for you and we want to have a good time. So if you want a chance to win free Raiders tickets, you got to enter at chatsports.com/Raiders tickets. Buy a $5 raffle, essentially, is the way it is, and it's going to be a giveaway. We'll announce the winner. But if you don't win, remember, you can always come party with me at Red Tail for an awesome game day experience. Let's go to number 2 on my list for Raiders. I need more snaps. DeSean Deablo. This is kind of exactly what I said about Koonce. You can't really figure out what you have in a player unless you start to play him. So if we have already our back-to-back 2 third-round picks and then you're already going to tell me that they both suck, I'm going to simply disagree. And the other thing I'm going to go to is this. DeSean Deablo played safety at Virginia Tech, and I get it. He's lined up as a linebacker, and I'm not trying to have another Tanner Muse experience here. But if you can look at me and say that Jonathan Abram and Dale Levitt are better coverage players than DeSean Deablo, I'm already going to look at you and say it was a bad pick. It was a wasted pick. I don't know that yet, and I want to know, going into next year's draft, what I have out of Koonce and what I have out of Deablo. For that reason and that reason alone, those guys deserve more snaps. And the final player that I believe deserves more is KJ Wright. I've actually been very impressed with Wright, and I encourage anybody to go out there, turn on the film, and watch KJ play. In fact, why he's only played in 34% of the snaps the last 2 weeks is a little baffling to me. Have I been impressed by Denzel Perryman and Corey Littleton? Yes, those guys have both played well. But if I'm being 100% honest, if I'm looking at just the tape, and again, KJ Wright's tape is a shorter sample size than both of those other players, Perryman and Littleman, but he's been a better run stopper. Right now, the biggest problem the Raiders' defense has been stopping the run. And if I'm being 100%, when I look at the overall, what I'm looking for in a Gus Bradley linebacker, I think KJ Wright has been better than Denzel Perryman and better than Corey Littleton. Now, Perryman gets beat on almost every single time he's targeted. Littleton has been much better, but I just think that I'm not saying like I want to totally start KJ Wright over those guys. Let's just say if the snaps are 34% the last 2 weeks for Wright and Littleton and Perryman are playing over 85, 90%, I personally believe that it should be a little bit closer. Let's give Perryman maybe 50% of the snaps and bring down Littleton and Perryman just a little bit. For that reason, play KJ just a little bit more. All right, guys, so let me know if there's any players that I maybe missed off the list here and that. I would appreciate that. Now, for those of you that are watching this live, you can go ahead and vote, whether it's on my Twitter, whether it's on my Instagram, at Mitchell Renz 365, because we are down to the final two to replace the Chucky head. It's between the Just Win Babies. It's between the Raiders Shield. So if you're watching this now, please type B for Just Win Babies or type S for Shields. If you want to go ahead and vote, you got 6 days to do it. The voting will end on Monday, which is like the 22nd, I believe. So it's my pinned tweet right now at Mitchell Renz 365. It's going to be on my Instagram only, though, for the rest of Tuesday. So if you're watching this on Wednesday, you're already a little bit late. Go vote on the YouTube community as well. Let's decide what is going to be the next Chucky head.